Hey y'all, welcome back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, recruiting in yoga pants. So let us tackle an important topic that I think all recruiters should be very mindful of. You may be wondering, what does this have to do with me as a job seeker, Ames? Stay tuned. This will all make sense. I hope. Okay, so this was actually shared something on LinkedIn yesterday. By the time you're watching this, it'll be yesterday. And around source of hire. So there's a lot of discussion and debate constantly around, the best ways to get your next job, and the best ways to get noticed, and you should be, singing telegrams to CEOs with your value proposition in your back pocket or whatever. Look, it's only crazy if it doesn't work, okay? If you are someone who has landed a job because you sent a singing telegram to a CEO, please call me. I want to hear this story. This has got to be good. Okay, so I'm being a little facetious with that here, right? I don't know if anyone has ever actually done that. Who knows? But here's what I do know. Source of hire is a very important metric that all recruiters should know. Okay? Source of hire is where did this person who made it through our interview process, who accepted an offer, where did they come from? And the reason why that matters is because we want to know what's working. We want to know where are we getting the most effectiveness for our dollar, for our time, for whatever, right? We're all spending something. We're spending money to post on job boards. We're spending time to scour the internet looking for people to call. You name it, anything in between. So understanding that source of hire and knowing, hey, this activity netted this amount of people is super valuable. So I ran the numbers. I had someone, trying to, sales bro me on LinkedIn about some bullshit statistic about 85% of jobs are found through networking or whatever. All right, I'll play. So I looked at the numbers. I know last year when I did this for 2020, 40% was somewhere right around 40% of our hires were direct applicants. So people who had applied to a role with our company. And I think most of them were actually hired into the role that they'd applied to. Every now and again, we'll be like, oh, this person's actually a better fit for something else, and so we sometimes will make those little adjustments. But I think for the most part, it was actually applied to the role that they got, which is even better, right? That's the goal. Win-win for everybody. Our second biggest source of hire was sourced candidates, meaning my sourcing partners, my recruiters on my team went out and found people, encourage them to, talk to us, apply, go through the interview, all that kind of stuff. So that entry point varied, right? For some folks, they were proactively, hitting the button and saying, hey, I want to be considered. For others, my sourcing partners were, putting out messages, calling people, hitting people up and saying, hey, would you consider coming to work here? And our third source of hire, the third on the list, employee referrals. Now, let me be very clear. I am someone who personally has benefited over and over and over in my career from being an employee referral. I have been referred to most of the positions that I have held, including my current one. I love referrals. I would love more referrals. Okay? But as we've discussed on the channel numerous times, even referrals ultimately have to be qualified for the position and pass whatever the interview process is. Okay? That does not go away regardless of source of hire. So again, why does source of hire matter? I want to make sure we're talking to the right people through the right platforms at the right time. If our best source of hire is direct applicants, There's nothing wrong with that. We definitely want to keep doing what we're doing, which is sharing our open roles, talking publicly about cool stuff we're working on, sharing articles, anything that helps bring people's interest to our organization and to our team. We should keep doing that. Knowing that our sourced candidates is our second biggest source of hire, we definitely want to make sure we keep doing that. And so there's a deep dive. What's worked? Why, what kind of messages are getting the best response? And are there certain types of roles that we've filled? Okay. Are there certain types of roles that we have better luck at? Same thing with referrals. When we look at referrals as our third source of hire, at least for my group for the last couple of years, we want to look at, again, are there certain roles that we have better luck? Sometimes they're the really hardcore engineering, really difficult roles. We get better response from referrals. Great. We should put more effort there. Maybe it's our, lower level technician roles. Oh, we get a lot of referrals there. Okay, great. We know those are just going to kind of fill themselves, right? We don't necessarily need to put a ton of recruiting effort because we know we're going to get the incoming applicants, the referrals, or whatever. So it's a very, very, very important data points or multiple data points that recruiters need to look at on a regular basis and figure out, where am I getting the most impact for my spend and where do I need to improve? Okay. Maybe we need to evangelize our referral program better and get better referrals. I'd love to hire more referrals, right? It'd be wonderful. How do I get my team sending in more qualified folks? Maybe that's a question we have to answer. So I'm sharing all of that to give y'all a little bit of insight into the recruiting thought process and how we look at those different entry points for our potential new hires. But also, now we pivot. What does this mean to job seekers? Y'all should track the same thing. Okay, hear me out. I'm not saying source of hire because you're not hiring anybody, but you're trying to get hired. So keep track. If you are an active job seeker, keep track. Write down your activity. Create yourself an Excel spreadsheet if you have to, and make a note of how you've reached out, who you've reached out to, when you reached out, when you heard back, and do the math. Because you should be, and I will die on this hill, y'all, you should be employing every possible method that might work for you. You should be applying online to roles that spark your interest. You should be networking. Get those 3-way networking templates at recruitinginyogapants.com. That's peers, recruiters, hiring managers. You should be asking trusted colleagues and former coworkers if they would refer you to open roles at their companies. You should be responding to recruiter outreach if you are hearing from people like me. Okay? Keep track. Keep track of what is actually moving you forward to the next step. Your specific outcome is going to be specific to you, my friend. It doesn't matter what the Department of Labor says. It doesn't matter what Amy Miller says. It doesn't matter what anybody who's selling you something on LinkedIn says. What matters is what's working for you. I cannot stress that enough. And you will not know what's working for you if you're not measuring it. Okay? So that's what I want you to do. If I were ever to give you homework, my beloved job-seeking community, your homework is this. Track your outreach, your activity, your dates, and how quickly the right things are moving you to the right part of the process. That's it. All right? This is easy stuff. You can do it. I believe in you, and I believe it will help. If you know which of your activities is actually getting you the results that you want, that is the activity that you are going to double down on. If you're like me and most of your roles have come through, word of mouth, who do you know, hey, can we work together again? That's where you spend your time. I'll be very transparent with you. As much as I believe in online applications, probably not the best or fastest source for me. Let me talk to any of my million friends in recruiting, get an idea if there's a potential fit there, and I'll apply all day long. but I'm going to do that peer networking first because I know for me, it's what has gotten me where I wanted to go in the past. You can do it too. All right. If you are struggling with this, if you're not sure how to get started, if you're just curious about what you should be tracking and how, send me an email, amy@recruitinginyogapants.com. Let's talk through it. I'm happy to help you build a dashboard or something that might make this easier for you. But think about it. Think about what's important for you to know and how you can use that data to be more effective in your job search. We'll see you next week.